Hey everybody, my name is Gerrid Smith. Thank you so much for joining our call today. Uh, if you were here last week, you would have met with Lenny, who's Vice President of IMG, which is a agency that I own, and he had just some phenomenal tips. So I took a bunch of notes from that call and wanted to kind of go deeper on some of those areas. I also put out a link with a form for each one of you to share your questions, and I got quite a few questions as well. So we've got a lot of content to cover today. I do know that the last time I did one of these calls, probably about a month and a half ago, I had 20, 30 questions, and I got through the whole entire call in about 30 minutes. So in the event that I do move quickly through these questions, I wanted to ask that you guys go ahead and put in the chat your landing pages or your websites that you'd like for me to review. If we've got time at the end, I'll do some audits of some websites and landing pages, give you feedback on how you can improve. Could be SEO, conversions, whatever it is you want me to take a look at. So go ahead and drop them in the chat box. And again, if we've got time at the end, I will do that. So it looks like there's a bunch of them coming in now. Good. All right, well, let's go ahead and dive right in. So first question is, how do you understand your numbers when you place ads, you use influencers, etc.? So here's some of the things I look at. Let's talk about ads specifically, since most of you guys are going to be running ads. I'm going to look at the click-through rate as one of the primary metrics to determine if an ad is performing well or not. Ideally, I want a click-through rate above 1%. That's not always doable, but that is often the goal, is above 1%. If you're 1% or above, you're doing really, really well. This is also going to depend on the offer that you're promoting. So if you've got, again, when we have our Joy Day promotion in February, I'm hoping we've got better than a 1% click-through rate, especially if it's to warm traffic through retargeting. If it's cold traffic, I may have a little bit of a different deal, but I would say in general, probably 0.5% to 1% is what I'm going to be shooting for. And as far as the numbers that I'm looking at on my website, obviously you're looking at revenue, but some of the other things that I look at, I'm looking at bounce rate. I'm looking at time on site. Let me just talk about bounce rate real quick, because bounce rate is big. So bounce rate is the number of people, and you guys can go ahead and stop putting the links in. We've got about 30 of them here, so I don't think I'll have time for all of these, but we're good on that front. So bounce rate means that people went to the one page and then left without going to other pages. Now, depending on where you're sending traffic, that could be a good thing, that could be a bad thing. What I like to do is I like to send cold traffic. So if we're running like Google ads, for example, I like to send Google ad traffic, which is cold traffic. They don't know anything about our company, our brand, more than likely. I like to send them to what's called a landing page. Back in the old days, 12, 15 years ago, when I was first getting started, they called them squeeze pages. And they called them squeeze pages because there wasn't anywhere else for them to go. You're funneling the user down a page. Basically the end result is that they would click through to buy the product. And that's what I like to do. I like to send people down the page, a single page, no navigation, or if there's navigation, it's navigation to different sections of that one page. So I just want to point out, if you have a bad bounce rate, but you're allowing people to go throughout the site, that's different than you have a landing page where there's literally nowhere else to go other than for them to bounce or for them to proceed. So I like bounce rate. I like time on page. I want to make sure that people are making it all the way down to the end of the page. This is probably one of the most important metrics. So you want to kind of read through the page at a normal rate. See how long it takes for you to get through that page. If you find that people are only getting about halfway through your page, so for example, they're bouncing at 1 minute and it takes about 2 minutes to get through the page, then you need to be going through halfway through the page and seeing what you could be doing to improve. Maybe you need to have a video there. Maybe you need to put a couple testimonials in that section. Something like that would be huge, because what you'll find is you may have great copy up top that gets them in, but then you're losing them. And it could be that you need to just put a call to action button higher up on the page. That could be it too. So you got to play with it, but that's a big metric that I like to look at. And then obviously the conversion rate. So let me give you some ideas on conversion rates that at least we shoot for here at Joy Organics. You know, I'm shooting for a 5% conversion rate on regular traffic, you know, that we get from Google, that we, you know, may get from, you know, affiliates or whatever it may be. Affiliate traffic, I'm actually shooting for higher. So affiliate traffic and cold traffic, I'm shooting for about 7 to 8% is the conversion rate I'm shooting for. If you're not generating a 7 to 8% conversion rate on cold traffic, I would say the number one factor that I've seen that isn't working well is your offer. And that's, an offer is like, you know, either a discount or a promotion or something that's getting the buyer eager, excited about buying your product. So if you guys have a lower than average conversion, that's something I would look at. The average conversion rate for most websites is going to be about 2.5 to 3%. You know, the only reason we're shooting for a 5% is because, you know, this is all I've done for 15 years. So, you know, I'm pretty good at finding holes and plugging them as it relates to leaky traffic. But if you guys are getting a 2.5 to 3% conversion rate on, in general, all traffic, that's pretty good. And then for your landing pages, I would be shooting for, you know, about a 4.5 to 5% conversion rate on that. And the reason why I'm going to shoot for a higher conversion rate on my paid traffic is because when somebody clicks on an ad that says 20% off, 15% off, whatever it is, CBD, like they know exactly what they're looking for. And as long as I provide them exactly what they're looking for, there's a great chance that they're going to convert. One of the things that we've got going on with our site that hinders our conversion rate a little bit is we get a lot of B2B traffic. We get a lot of people that are searching for, you know, private label solution, wholesale solution, manufacturers. So we get a lot of traffic that isn't going to necessarily buy on that first visit. And they may actually never buy from us. They may, you know, become a private label customer, which they're not going to buy realistically from our site. So that's going to lower our conversion rate. So again, if I were you, I'd be shooting for 3% on your general traffic, and I'd be shooting for 5% on paid media traffic. The other thing that I put on this, kind of as a side note, you know, if you're not using live chat, I think you're definitely missing an opportunity. Most people like to use live chat over, you know, emailing, which takes some time, or calling, which is instant like live chat, but who wants to pick up the phone and call? So live chat's really, really popular. A tool that I recommend and have really enjoyed is called Olark, OLARK.com. It's a great tool. It's like $20 a month, and you can do little proactive chats with it. So you can, you know, when somebody pops on the site, after 30 seconds, you can give them a little coupon code or ask them if they've got questions. Or, you know, I saw one that was really cool recently that said, I landed on their like sports cream page, and they had a proactive pop-up that related to the sports cream. So I don't know how they set this up, but they had a couple live chat people, agents, if you will. And this particular gal, her favorite product that they had was the sports cream. And so I don't know, you know, if they just do this to all the pages. I clicked on a couple others. I didn't see it come up again, but that's kind of a cool thing. You know, if somebody lands on your soft gel page and your soft gels are your favorite product, you're like, hey, you should land on our soft gel page. That happens to be my favorite product. I've been using it for X amount of time. Here's the results I get without making claims. It could be a really neat way to, you know, break the ice a little bit and get a conversation going. I think the more conversations you can generate, the more sales you're going to have. So If you're not using live chat, highly, highly recommend it. All right, let's talk about newsletter strategies. So this came from let me just move this down real quick. This came from the call last week. I wanted to talk real quickly about some of the newsletter strategies that we're using right now that actually Hannah, my sister, has been using that have worked really well. We've gone to 3 newsletters a week, and we've done that to really improve the relationship that we're having with our customers. On Mondays and Fridays, we have what we call our Hope and Health newsletter. And we try to be very positive, uplifting in those newsletters. We're not trying to sell product. We don't even talk about product. And then on Wednesday, we have our kind of product focus, which we're going to adjust a little bit. But Hannah shared something really interesting with me this morning that I want to share with you guys. And that is, we had a newsletter that came out, in the last month, and it was something along the lines of, the subject was something along the lines of a letter from our CEO. Now, 9 out of 10 companies probably would not generate the response that we get, if it's maybe Microsoft or, companies where people maybe don't care about the CEO, but we got a 20% open rate on that email. And that said to me that a lot of people feel very connected with Joy, my mom. And, it could be, if you guys have that personal connection, that I would try to figure out how you can insert yourself into these communications so that they don't feel like a typical e-commerce newsletter, but they feel more personal. So if you guys, if you've got a story kind of like ours and you're promoting that story, like we've been, where we have Joy, front and center, and we, regularly talk about her story, then I would maybe try something along those lines. One of the things that I'd like to do more of is kind of videos from Joy, just sharing, hey, here's what's going on with us, or here's kind of some thoughts that I've been having as it relates to the pandemic we're in and dealing with the pandemic, whatever it may be. So I think some more personalized emails or personal emails, I think, actually can work really, really well right now. The other thing that we're doing is we're running more promotions. So we're running a promotion right now where we're giving away these bags, tote bags. These bags cost, basically $2. Very, very affordable. We're giving 15% off, and this is going extremely well. And what we're trying to do is do less promotions where it's just like a flat percentage base and we're giving something away instead. This tote bag is one example. We have really cool, they're kind of like this, but they're really small, like this big. They're little wine tumblers that keep your wine cold. We've got those that we're going to be running here in the next couple weeks because everybody loves those. Those cost like $3. So what I would be looking at is how you guys could run promotions while not just doing a flat percentage where you're giving something away that maybe costs $3 or $2. I mean, that's much better than a 20% off coupon. So again, that works, I think, for people that have a relationship with the brand. I don't think this is going to work as well for like new customer acquisition, but I do think it's going to work for getting your existing customers that already love your brand to buy again. And one of the things that was big that my dad was mentioning this morning is like, sometimes your customers just need an excuse to buy. And so that's kind of what this is. Like, hey, here's something cool. We're reminding you that it's time to buy, and it's working. All right, how to find affiliates. We had a couple people that were asking about this. So here's a couple different ways that we go about finding affiliates. One is through Google. We'll do searches for different keywords that are important to our business. We started with CBD focused keywords. So CBD gummies, top CBD gummies. In fact, you do a search for top CBD gummies, you'll find an affiliate website that ranks. We've been in talks with them. Probably won't do a deal with them, but that's how you find affiliates, is you do searches like that. Top, pet tinctures, top dog treats, whatever it may be. See who ranks. If it's not a brand that's actually selling product, I would reach out to them and say, hey, I'm willing to offer you a great deal. I'll actually tell you a little bit about this deal that these guys are running and why we're not doing it. So the site I think that ranks for top CBD gummies is like medicaldaily.com. And here's what they're looking for. They're looking for an $1,800 upfront fee, and they're looking for a 30% commission. Now, when I originally looked at this, I thought that it would be that much to get listed on their page. I figured based on the stats that they gave us that we would get about 250 sales a month. But in which case I'd be like, okay, that's fine. We'll go ahead and go forward with that. They're actually looking to put us on a different page. But I think when you reach out to these people, my whole point in this is that you have to be a little bit creative, okay? You can't just reach out to these guys and say, hey, I've got a 10% affiliate program and I'll give you a 5% coupon and think that they're gonna be all excited about this. If you're just getting started, you need to build momentum. And to build momentum, sometimes you gotta give some of these guys better deals than you're going to give down the road. And I remember up front when we were getting started, I told Stephanie, our affiliate manager, hey, I'll give up to a 50% commission if it means getting on a big site. Because when you get on a big site, then you get a bunch of little sites. And because all the little sites are looking at the big sites. And that's the same with influencers. You know, if we could get some big influencer to work with us that had, 5 million followers, something crazy, I would be willing to do a deal with that influencer where we would maybe break even or even lose a little bit of money because it gives us so much street cred with all the little guys. So maybe let's just say you do a deal with a big influencer, you give them 40% along with a 20% coupon. And then because of that, you get 100 influencers that come in at the 25%, which is our current affiliate rate is 25% commissions. You get 100 of them coming in at the 25%. So you just got to kind of work the system a little bit, but I wouldn't be afraid to give some of these influencers a little bit more in order to, do the deal. The other way that I really like is to find brands that are similar to yours on Instagram. So there's a brand that I've been looking at called Gymshark. They have clothing, kind of sportswear, athletic wear clothing. If you do a search for hashtag Gymshark, which is what anybody would do that is a fan of theirs or an ambassador of theirs, they have 7.7 million posts that have been posted with the hashtag Gymshark. Unbelievable. But what does that tell you? You go in there, you start looking at their profiles. These are either paid ambassadors, affiliates, or just fans of the brand. But they're all in the sports, health, and fitness realm, right? So most of the people that are posting, are going to align with our brand. And so that would be a way that I would go through and kind of try to start finding influencers that may be interested in doing deals with us. If they've done deals with other brands, then they're going to be likely to do deals, with us as well, as opposed to an influencer that isn't promoting anybody. All right, I want to talk about content marketing. That was something that Lenny brought up last time. And one of the things that came up was, where do you find good writers? And this is something that I've had to deal with, my entire career in marketing businesses is where do you find good writers? What do you pay them? So what I found is that Upwork, upwork.com is one of my favorite sites for finding really specialized writers. So we have people that we've worked with that are specialized, like all they do is cannabis or CBD content. Another site that I like is called just the letter I, Writer. The letter I, WRITER. That can be a great site as well. And I haven't used that as much for like specialized writing, but everything I've put through there, regardless of the topic, we've had really good results. I've just started using them in the last week. So I would look at those two sources. We pay between 5 cents and 10 cents a word. I would suggest for most people to pay about 5 to 7 cents. We have one particular writer that we really like that charges a little bit more, but we're looking for maybe a little more specialized content, more high-end medical health type content. But I think for most people, 5 to 7 cents is kind of the going rate. So, you know, find somebody that you like, find somebody that's got a little bit of experience putting CBD content together, and that'll definitely help. But that's what we use for like our blogs, for example. Another thing I want to talk about that's been highly effective, I don't know if I've talked about this before, is creating pop-ups to gather emails. So if you guys go to our website, we use a tool called Exit Intelligence. This is like the high-end tool in this particular niche. But before that, we've used tools called Opt-in Monster, which is a great tool. It's like 30 bucks. Let me just go ahead and type in. Let me type in real quick this so that I don't have to spell this out. I don't know how they spell their deal. I really like these guys. I've met the CEO. He's a really nice guy. They put out high quality tools. Hold on, we've got a question here on what is the average words for content. We shoot for like 750 to 1,000 words is really what you need to do well with SEO these days. So Opt-in Monster. So what this does is it's an exit intent tool, which means if I have my little cursor and I'm going up to the top of the screen to exit out of a page, a pop-up will come up. You guys can test this out on our site if you haven't yet. And lots of sites do this, but it's a way for you to get one more shot at that user. So you want to hit them with an offer. So when somebody does on our site, hey, we've done a couple different things. I think the one we're running right now is 15% off, but we've had like, hey, get a free gift and here's a book and here's a discount. So you want to test different things. For us, the 15% discount has worked phenomenal. We get over 100 emails a day from that pop-up. So this is something, again, it's like, let's click it real quick so we can see how much this is. I want to say it's 29 bucks. 29 for the pro. I don't even think you need the pro. So $9 a month, you could probably start with the basic and go from there. But go ahead and test that on their site too. You'll see as soon as I exited out of there, the little pop-up came up. But that allows you, what you do with that, collect the email and then put them into kind of an autoresponder series. And so if you've got Klaviyo, if you've got Aweber, most email tools these days have autoresponder type things. And so you can send them a sequence of emails. So I'd send them the first one, hey, thanks so much for, requesting this. Looks like people aren't getting it. Hold on just a minute. Let me put it back in there. So you can say, hey, here's your 15% or 20% coupon. And then after that, build a relationship with them. Make it a 3, 4, 5-part series. If they don't use that 15% coupon, then on the 5th email, give them a 30% coupon. Give them a reason to buy. So I would drop them into that bucket. I would send them a series of emails over a period of a couple weeks, build a relationship, tell them a little bit about your story, and then hit them with a stronger coupon code if they don't buy. Okay? So I want to talk a little bit about making better performing ads. Again, going back to some of the sites or ads that I've seen, I'm constantly amazed by some of our larger competitors that have what I would consider to be weak ads. They don't have a strong offer, they don't have interesting imagery, and they don't have a good call to action. So every ad that you run, you've got to have a call to action button that's a check us out, learn more, shop now. I'll never forget one of the ads I saw from a very, very high converting competitor was Shop CBD. That was what they had tested to see what works best for them. So they have a button, Shop CBD, very, very clear. But, with your retargeting campaigns, I would be like, hey, what kind of offer can I give these guys? Can I do a free plus or a 30% or something to get them in the door? I just think these days, 15% just isn't enough on retargeting, and you're going to have to look at, creating stronger ads. Okay. All right. Would you be willing to share a template of your affiliate agreement? Yes, I had this question twice. If you guys email your account manager. After this call, I will send them our affiliate agreement and they can share that with you. What's the typical percentage for affiliate commissions? 25%. What are your thoughts on ClickFunnels? So for those of you who are not familiar, ClickFunnels is a fantastic tool. It's a very expensive tool, but it's a great tool. And what it does is it allows you to maximize cart value for your customers. Somebody visits our website, buys from us, they're going to spend approximately $75. Okay, $75. If we were running this through ClickFunnels, we would have, once they buy, we would have a series of upsells, downsells, and cross-sells that would allow us to bump up that order value to probably about $150. And it's great for paid media. It's something that I would absolutely look at using here in the next couple months. So I'm a big fan of ClickFunnels. And if you have, I would say, you know, a lot of money to spend both setting that up, because you have to spend a good bit of money to get it going, and you've got a decent amount of money to spend on ads, I think it's worth it. Gerrid, I would like to explore the restrictions around advertising cannabis products on Facebook and Instagram and what the limitations are. I also noticed a number of CBD products on Amazon calling themselves hemp products as opposed to CBD. Is this a trend in the US? And if so, it's probably confusing for the customer. Yeah, it is. So let's talk about Amazon. Absolutely. The only way to get on Amazon is to call yourself a hemp product. If you put CBD on there, you will absolutely be taken down. I think it is confusing for customers. I think it's confusing when you sell quality products. If we were in the business of selling hemp oil that cost, you know, $1.50 to make, and we sold it for $20 and had great margins, then yeah, I'm sure we'd be all excited about that, even though you're providing a horrible experience to customers. But the problem right now is just that. You have literally people selling hemp extract and you have people selling hemp oil. If you wanted to sell on Amazon, which I think there are lots of great opportunities right now to do that, you have to distinguish the difference and say, we sell hemp extract and here's why that's different, better, more important than hemp oil, which is probably what most of these people are selling. I remember somebody did a study a couple months ago and they tested a bunch of the hemp products on Amazon, most of which did not contain CBD. And I would probably like include a screenshot or something of that particular study and figure out a way to say that without saying CBD. Okay. So let's talk about Facebook and Instagram. So I gave up on Facebook a couple months ago because I couldn't get a clear answer. And for me, there's just too many other interesting opportunities for me to look at than to be goofing around with Facebook. I did talk to a Facebook rep a couple days ago. It was this week. It was Monday or Tuesday. And he said their policy is still very wishy-washy as it relates to hemp and CBD. You can try it. If you try it, here's what I would suggest. Number one, only sell a topical. Let me take a step back. There's one of two routes I would recommend. One is you sell topicals and you make your page very generic, kind of a health and wellness type page, and see what you can get. I think really the opportunity with Facebook with that particular strategy is to pixel people and retarget them back with a 40% offer and take them to your store where they can buy anything. So the goal is really like, how cheap can you get a click so that you can pixel them with perfect audience and then hopefully bring them back. It's a wonky strategy for sure. The other thing that I've seen that I've liked, and I've seen this a couple times in the last couple months, is where people run quizzes, surveys, things of that nature to people. They collect their email and then they send them coupon, introductory to the business, things of that nature. So let me give you an example. How well do you know CBD? That's a quiz. And this is a quiz I would try to run. Or do you know the difference between marijuana and hemp? 9 out of 10 people get this question. 9 out of 10 people get this wrong. That's a popular thing you'll see on Taboola these days is something about sports quarterbacks. Who are the top 10 quarterbacks of all time? 9 out of 10 guys get this wrong. Well, you're kind of getting these guys to be like, oh yeah, I know the best 9 out of 10 quarterbacks right now. And so to get them in there, they do a survey. My guess is that's a sports company of some kind running that survey. So you have to be a little bit clever like that. So I would do things, I would try the survey of how well do you know CBD or how well do you know hemp? And I would run it to a site like hempquiz.com or cbdquiz.com, take them through the survey, the last page, give us your email, we'll send you the results. I would do something like that, but it has to be, it can't be salesy. It can't be, take me to your shop and sell me some product. It has to be very nuanced in that way. I think that would be a good way to do it, but you have to have patience and you have to be like all in. What I would say is, if you're going to go after Facebook, don't go after anything else, because literally it just gave me a headache with everything else that's on my plate to be screwing around with Facebook. I think Facebook's worth it. I think if you know Facebook ads really well, then I would look at doing that. But you got to spend all your time creating that quiz and then like a general health and wellness quiz or quizzes that would be interesting to your target market. Just talked to a really neat company a week or two ago, and they target, runners and things. Okay, put a quiz together for runners and collect those emails. That can absolutely work. So what's a great platform for quizzes? We're using like lead quizzes or something like that. Lead something as it relates to quizzes, and that's been fine for us. Here's another one: run ads that don't say CBD. Yeah, CBD can't be anywhere in the landing page or the ad, but I haven't found that that's enough for me personally, and maybe things have changed in the last couple months. Here's somebody, we tried this landing page that only sells hemp seed foods with no luck. Yeah, I have not tried CBD on Snapchat. I do know that Snapchat allows it. I was approached by a company that runs Snapchat ads, and they did have success. So if you guys have our gummies, I'd be like, hey, try it. Instagram's the same as Facebook. You're not gonna realistically get better results on Instagram than you on Facebook. Pinterest, I don't know. Pinterest, I think it just depends on your target market, who you want to go after. If you want to go after the 30-year-old mom, then I think you can do well. I would be, for the younger crowd, I'd look at Snapchat. For the moms, I think it's worth it to look at Pinterest, but it's not something that we want to do right now. Who do I recommend create landing pages? Upwork. Go to Upwork and find a strong landing page designer. Find somebody that has experience creating landing pages on whatever platform you're on. So we're on WordPress, so I would find somebody who specializes in landing page design for WordPress. I'm not familiar with the nutrition realm. I have not seen them before. All right, let me keep moving through. Best way to establish a profitable affiliate program. Are there CBD-friendly affiliate websites that you use? There were lots of friendly CBD websites in the early days, but not anymore. If you do a search, for example, Joy Organics Review, you're going to find 100 affiliate websites. The problem with most of them is there's a billion CBD companies, so that's going to be a hard approach to take. What I would recommend is go very niche. I would recommend going very niche with your focus. What I mean by that is, this is a bad example, but it's the first one that comes to my mind, is like natural remedies for cancer. What site ranks for that? Natural remedies for cancer. And go through the top 20, pages in Google and see what comes up there. I would do that, and then I really like the whole Gymshark, sneaky steal their ambassador program. If that fits with your target market, hashtag Gymshark, start contacting all those people, get them on an affiliate program. If I were starting over today with an affiliate program, that's what I would do. I think it's going to be tough to go to the content sites because I think they get bombarded all the time. Here's a good one. I was wondering if there was a photo and video editor app that Gerrid might recommend a small business use for special effects, videos, ads, things of that nature. Hannah, do we still use Canva? Is that the tool you would recommend, or what would you recommend?
I would probably recommend, I mean, I just use Premiere. There's this thing called Animoto, which I don't know if you guys listen to that Now This or Watch Now This videos, but it's an easy way to put text over some images if you want to talk about some CBD facts, things of that sort. Animoto is pretty handy.
All right, I just put that in there. Good. All right, somebody asked email software for Shopify, Klaviyo. Go Google Klaviyo. I don't remember how to spell it. It's something like that. It's a very weird spelling. That's our favorite software program. Do I recommend Wix? I think Wix is okay. I honestly don't have much experience with Wix, and my knowledge of Wix is honestly 10 years old. So thank you, whoever posted that link to Klaviyo. I'm just not familiar with Wix enough to recommend it. All right, next one. Best strategy starting an affiliate program, kind of just went over that. Anything you want to mention about domain names would be great. I remember you mentioned a couple weeks ago about geo domains. I only sell CBD in order to trademark cannabis products with my logo, and my company is mostly a digital asset firm. We have most major city, state edible names, okay, like vegasedibles.com, as well as many flower names, cannabisflower.com. And for me, CBD is just a practice run for the real marathon of legalization. Working on this for years, nobody has an idea when I explain it. When I heard you recently, you got it. Yeah. This is a lot, but again, anything further you want to mention about domains would be great. So I've purchased so many domains over the years. Here's a couple ideas on domains. Number one, as you can see with what we did with Joy Organics, we wanted something that was very brandable. Not saying this is a strategy for everybody. I'm saying this is what we were looking for. I wanted something brandable. I wanted something that had a big company feel before we were a big company. When it was just my mom, dad, and I wanted it to feel like, wow, these guys could be, I don't know, a company with 50 employees. And I think we did that. As it relates to, I would call these like, you got geo, and then you've got like keyword rich domains. Phenomenal. Keyword rich domains are great for an SEO play. So this guy owns, like cannabis flower. If you want to rank for the keyword phrase cannabis flower, then owning cannabisflower.com makes it, I would say, 80% easier. 80% easier than trying to rank Joy Organics or cannabis flower. So I think it can be a great play for the national keywords. The geo keywords, I think it just depends on the market. Vegas, for example, great market. Chicago, New York, LA, great markets. I just don't know how wide you want to go with a geo domain strategy. Like you mentioned, Vermont. I don't know if that's, then the problem with that is you got to have just hundreds and hundreds of sites. And that's just a pain to keep up and keep going. So that would depend on really your desire to manage sites, or if you want to sell these and you're kind of a domain broker, then I think that could be a positive strategy. But I would just stick with the high level cities personally. And I would absolutely buy anything like cannabis flower that's national. Cannabis flower, hemp flower. I would love to own some names like that. Here's a great question. First from Tim. Goodness, we've got a handful of questions here. I'm gonna NJ Ziz. We're gonna have to come back to that one. Tim, flower mound. Here's the thing. So what is it? We just had somebody come reach out to us about Heartstone. What do you think about Heartstone? I was like, well, I like the word heart. I don't like the word stone. Stone feels very cold to me. So it's like, it was Hearthstone Organics. So the question is like, what kind of images come to your mind when you think of Hearthstone? When I think of Flower Mound, I don't know. It doesn't strike me as like something super exciting or positive or hopeful. I don't think it's bad. It doesn't strike me as something that's great. Gene asked, would you recommend putting CBD in your website name? Great question, and has pros and cons. Here, the pros are on an SEO side, you're gonna rank faster. The con side, you're married to CBD. And I will tell you, we have told ourselves many, many times, we're glad that we're not married to CBD because we believe, in this industry, long-term, it's gonna go well beyond CBD. You got CBG, you got CBN, a lot of really, really interesting products out there. I should say there's a lot of interesting cannabinoids. So I don't really like the idea of including CBD for us. I think if I had a short-term little SEO play, then 100% having CBD in the name is going to be good. Jay asks, do you have a company you recommend for packaging? Yes. Reach out to your account manager and they will let you know what company we use for packaging. All right, I'm going to get back to my list because these guys submitted their questions first, all right? Great question. When creating hemp landing pages, can your images still say CBD? Let me give you the latest information that we have as it relates to running ads for Google, okay? So to answer your question, I would recommend no. Do not put CBD in any of your images. Here's why. You will not get caught early on because your budget's small. Once you start scaling a paid media campaign, you are absolutely going to get a manual review. It's not a bad thing, but they're gonna just check on things and see what's going on. I think they're probably running more manual reviews in the CBD space than any other, just because of all the weird stuff that goes on. So I wouldn't recommend having CBD in your ads. But let me give you some further insight into what's working for us in Google. We've learned that Google doesn't like the word THC. So we've got THC free all over our landing pages and we were running into issues with it. We've removed THC free and that's been a big help. The other word that we've removed that was a new one for me and just learned this morning is cannabinoid. THC free, cannabinoid. Do not put those words on your landing pages if you're trying to promote them in Google. Obviously CBD is a no-no, but those were some new ones that were very new for me. So that's hot off the press, if you will. It seems so much changes each year with pricing. How do you guys decide whether to charge more or less for your products, catering to either the lowest price competition or keep the price high for perceived value? Where do you see the cost of CBD going? How should we anticipate? One hand, you want to maintain your perceived value. Yeah, so great question. How do we determine it? It depends on our costs, right? So as our costs, as the cost of oil for us goes down, then we try to pass on those costs for you. And it's honestly as simple as that. It's as simple as that. And then also just how do we keep up in the market? One of the things, you'll notice is Charlotte's Web. If you guys keep track of them, they just lowered their prices in the last couple of weeks. And, we lowered our prices back in January, anticipating that the market was going to come down. And as of now, we were the first to do it, and only Charlotte's Web has followed suit, which we thought was a little bit interesting. But, ultimately, the price that we charge for all of our products, whether it's through private label or direct to customer, is going to depend on the price of oil that we can get. So that's the simple way to look at it. And yeah, as the price of oil gets cheaper, then that's only going to get passed on to our customers. Should we honestly and effectively market the organic nature of our products in your impending USDA certification? Yeah, you got to be careful. So we have received a warning letter from the USDA because we had organic all over our website. This was about a year ago. So you can't just put organic all over the place. We have a lot of visibility, so anything we do probably gets put under a microscope. Most smaller players could probably get away with more, but I would say I would say honestly, to keep it on the down low, talk about the ingredients as a whole. Hey, listen, we seek to find the finest, most highest quality ingredients across the board. And I would stick with that. If you start saying organic, you just have a higher risk than if you don't. Gerrid, since you own IMG, what sort of promotions are you offering for Joy Organics partners that would like to use IMG services? I did just talk to the president of IMG today. I don't run that company. I'm not in the day-to-day grind of that company. And she said that they would offer 15% off services over the next week. So if you were to reach out to them in the next week, sign up in the next week, they would give you a 15% discount. I have a completed website. In prior calls, you've talked about having a landing page with a pop-up incentive, which is probably the exit intent. Would you suggest I add this if I am able? So if you are add this, and if so, if I'm able to create one and add my finished site, or do I need to go back to the designer for this? I think the question is, do I need to have a landing page and a website, or just a website? And the answer is you need both. So you can see we have a website. Websites are great for certain things, but they're not great for all things. And so you're just going to have better conversions on a landing page driving paid media to it than you will otherwise. You've got to have a regular website for regular people to do a search for Joy Organics and land on your site. So that's why we have a regular website. But as it relates to landing pages, we've got very different strategies for that. We've got different strategies for Facebook. We've got different strategies for a perfect audience. So I think you have to treat them separately. And again, I think you can find a great designer, developer that puts these together on Upwork. That's what we've used. Are you allowed to say organically grown hemp? No, unfortunately, you're not. What about saying phytocannabinoid rich? To my knowledge, there's nothing wrong with saying that. What species is Joy's hemp? I don't know what species we're using. We're in the US, all over. I know that it's all over the US. What tips do you have for high converting product pages, high converting landing pages? I could do a multi-hour long webinar talking about just that topic. What I would suggest is you do a search for high converting landing page tips. High converting landing page tips. Put that into Google. You will find multiple templates that say, hey, here's some good layouts for you to talk about. Do you sell product directly on your landing pages? Do you direct them next step? We direct them to the next step. The landing page is the first step, and there's a lot of science about taking people through a process. So they want to feel like they're taking baby steps to become a customer, that they're not just jumping in and marrying you, right? So landing page step one, move over to actually what we have is click here to save 25% on your order. And if it's a specific product page, we have two different kinds of product pages or landing pages. One is a specific product page where we just sell gummies or we just sell dog treats. We will direct them to the cart on those pages. We have another page that's kind of a step back from that, where we're like, hey, here's a little bit about our brand. Here, learn a little bit about our story. And here's a couple testimonials. And here's our top 3 selling products. And in that one, we'll actually direct them to the regular product page. All right, let me keep going through this. And if I have time, I'll get back to some of these questions, just because, again, I want to honor the people that posted the questions first. How much should I be ready to spend on digital marketing per month if I'm launching my brand? What would an ROI ramp look like? Well, I don't know if I can answer the question about how much you should be spending, because that just depends on your goals. I mean, we spent a lot of money up front with no ROI for the first couple months, just to get the ball rolling, to get our website live, to get some links going and some SEO domain authority. So we spent a lot of money getting the ball rolling, and I would say ROI for us didn't happen until realistically 6 months down the road. It probably took us to start getting a positive ROI. I think you can again, that's because we spent so much money getting the ball rolling with SEO. if you were just to dive straight into paid marketing, paid media, which is what I would recommend most of you guys do, then you'll see return extremely quickly. Okay, so I just heard Hannah's posting proprietary strain of sativa is what we use. But yeah, you should, if you're doing the affiliate route, then you should see an ROI in your second month, because again, that's pay for performance. And so you're only paying out money if you get money. So in theory, you should be profitable very, very quickly. But again, it just depends on your goals and what you want to do. Do you guys do videos or recommend a company who does videos? Yeah, we've got a couple guys that we work with, and their prices are all over the place. A couple guys here locally, and then one company in Cleveland, Ohio. Obviously, nobody's traveling right now. What I would recommend is finding somebody local. For sure, find somebody local. Depending on your budget, I would find like a college student. I would find a college student if I were just getting started today. Find a college student who's looking to do this for a living and can put together some nice, sharp-looking, promotional videos for you. Looks like the next 3 questions are about Facebook and Google, which I kind of went over some of the restrictions that we've got. Yeah. So the last question that I've got here, and then I'll switch over, is it'd be nice to understand the difference between click-through, conversion expectations. How do you determine if you're using your budget wisely? Yeah, so again, going back to conversions, I'd be looking for 5% on cold traffic. Click-through rate is going to be between 0.5% and 1%. And at the end of the day, if you're just getting started, it's about the money coming in. So you've got kind of these leading KPIs, but at the end of the day, the primary KPI that you care about is your conversion rate and the money that's being generated. The other thing I would be looking at in addition to conversion rate is your cart value. I don't see many people talking about that, but that's important. And that's where tools like ClickFunnels can be so important, is they take your cart value and pretty much you can double it. And that's important because if you just get to spend more money to acquire customers. One of my favorite companies, if you guys have some time, if you really want to take paid media seriously, look at a company called Golden Hippo. I'll go ahead and put it in here real quick. This is a company that's doing a lot of things right. Try to find some of their products that they sell. You'll see them, if you ever see a block of ads and it says Taboola, powered by Taboola, you'll see some of their ads. Dr. Gundry, one of their brands that they own, but they own a couple. But go through some of their funnels. You land on a landing page. They take you through a couple different pages to buy. When you buy, they upsell. I'm sure their average cart value is $300. You're going to buy so much probiotic, you got enough probiotic for the next year. But they can, if they have a cart value of $300, that means they can probably afford to spend $200 to acquire you and still make money at the end of the day. So a lot of really smart things there, but what cart value is a big thing that you've got to be looking at. All right, so I've got 5 minutes. It's not enough time for an audit. We'll have to do some audits another time. So let me just run through some of these questions. Annie asks, does having a hyphen in the URL affect marketing or SEO capabilities? Not at all. No effect there. Feel free to use them. We do. Tips to manage SEO services run overseas. All right, this is something I've got a lot of experience in. Yeah. Here's what I would recommend. SEO. Number one, I probably wouldn't use an SEO service that's overseas. I would use a company that's here in the US. At the end of the day, I would be looking for responsiveness. I would be looking to have a monthly meeting to review all of the progress. And I would be looking for like quarterly benchmarks. 90 days is a very fast time frame to get SEO results, but it's doable. And I would be looking, if I were on your side, looking to work with a company, and these are the things, I mean, I manage, a lot of freelance stuff. I'm looking for responsiveness, and I'm looking for like quarterly results if it's SEO. PPC, we've got a Google, PPC specialist. I meet with her every week, every Thursday. I had my meeting with her this morning. And she reviews, here's everything that's been done, and we review progress. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for progress. So a lot of this depends on, the keywords you're going to target. If you're targeting cities, which I would recommend most of you guys target cities, like Fort Collins and things of that nature. It's just easier to rank for than national stuff. You should be seeing results in 90 days. National stuff, here we are a year and a half in, and we don't rank, first page for CBD gummies, and that bugs the heck out of me. So some things just take a lot longer. So I don't know if that helped or not. All right, here's a good question. NJ Ziz. If you're a solopreneur starting this industry, brand with low capital, what do you suggest marketing towards athletes, fitness industry, use CBD as a recovery tool? Great. Number one, pick a niche. You've got a niche. It's athletes, fitness industry. Number two, I would work with some influencers, start small, give them as much as you can afford to give them, and give them a coupon code as well. So if you could do like 30% or 35% commission and like a 15 or 20% coupon, the goal is to build brand equity, to build awareness. And even if you're kind of breaking even to get started, that's what I would recommend. That is the best way to get started in this industry. If you have no capital, is you do performance-based marketing, which is affiliate marketing, and you give away the farm to get your word out, to get the word out and build and build and build. Here's the great thing about this. That first order that somebody places, you're going to pay a 30 to 35% commission. You're going to pay 20% for a coupon code. But the second time they come back, assuming you can provide a good experience, then you're not paying that 30% commission or probably the 20% coupon code. Or if you do give them the 20%, then you've got the 80% that you're making. So that is by far what I would do if I had no money and I was starting over again. All right, 3 new questions. Chandler asks, my merchant account application wants me to sign as a personal guarantor. Is that generally required? Chandler, would you be willing to share who you're looking to work with? I don't feel like that's generally required, but my father's handled all of that stuff for us. NJ, same thing. Focus on affiliates. Gene, in your opinion, what are the top 3 most successful niches? First off, Gail, yes, this is recorded and we will post this to YouTube. Gene, best niches. I don't have a best niche. I think I would look at lifestyle niches, which are, could be a certain demographic. I'll have to see if I can find my slides. Hannah, maybe you can see if we can share my slides from the presentation I gave. I gave some lifestyle niches and then health niches. Health are obviously a little more obvious. You've got, cancer, MS, things of that nature. The biggest thing that I would look at is find a niche where you have a personal connection and you can build a story around it. I could say, hey, the best niche is, cancer and women that are 56 years old and tennis players that are men that are 23. But if you don't play tennis, or if you're not a woman that's 56, or you don't have MS or know anybody who has MS, then you're not going to connect with that group. And I think so much of marketing is about connection. I think one of the big things that we've done well, is we've built a story. We've built a brand around a story. I was talking to a guy earlier, and he's like, I work with lots of companies, or I've worked with lots of companies, but I've been approached by 20, 30 CBD companies, and I wasn't interested in working with them, only interested in working with you. And he said, because you guys have a great story. great stories sell for you. So Gene, if I were you, I would say if you're a doctor, you know, that's a huge credibility booster, but I would look at something that, that you have a connection with, that if you were to share your story, it would connect with a certain group of people, and I would just target the heck out of those people. All right, it is 4 o'clock. Hannah, don't shut this down just yet, because I'm going to try to copy all of these notes, because somebody asked for that, and because I want all of these websites that were shared. Good, I've got them. So I've got everybody's websites that were shared. Again, I've got about probably 30 websites and landing pages. So in my next call, I will do an audit of those. That'll probably be a really fun call. I won't be able to do all of them, but I'll be able to do some of them. So guys, again, you know, things like these payment options, I would totally try to reach out to your account manager. I'm sure my dad has given lots of information to them on great merchant processors to use. So that would be my that would be my recommendation. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate allowing me to join you today. This was a lot of fun, and I look forward to doing our audits here in the near future. All right, thanks.